Welcome to Breakdown, JJ. It's Wednesday, December 18th. Lots of things have happened since we were here last.
Yeah, a whole lot's happened in the last 2 weeks.
The most recent, Heisman Trophy. You want to talk about the Heisman?
Yeah, it was the closest Heisman voting from 1 to 2 since 2009. That was the Mark Ingram, Toby Gerhart year.
Okay.
And Ndamukong Suh came in fourth, actually. He didn't even come in third, even though he probably should have won.
Did the voters get it right?
They did get it right. They got their second full-time defensive player, but their first in a long time full-time offensive and defensive player.
Yes, sir. Who was the last person who dabbled in that Heisman winner?
Might be a guy from Michigan. I don't know.
It wouldn't be Tom Brady, would it?
It would not be Tom Brady, but it would be someone that was on his team.
Mr. Woodson.
Yeah.
DB.
Yeah, don't tell people in Tennessee. They're still clutching their pearls about that.
And rightly so.
Wrongly so.
Because everyone knows.
Wrongly so.
Everyone knows Peyton should have won.
Came in second or third.
Everyone knows Peyton should have won that
He
year.
definitely shouldn't have won.
But this year they got it right.
They got it right this year, just like they got it right with Charles Woodson won in 97.
Did the fact that it was so close, did that surprise you any?
Yeah, the betting margins, like if you wanted to bet on Travis Hunter to win in Vegas, it was like minus 2,000. You had to put $2,000 down to win 100. So with it being that close, that lets me know that Ashton Jeanty got a late push. I think he got a late push. There were a lot of people that were undecided. And I bet Deion Sanders ruffled a little bit of feathers for some of the voting contingent.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. So, JJ, anything else you want to talk about the Heisman Trophy?
There was a Big Ten player came in third, Dylan Gabriel, all-time leader in wins and passing. I mean, he's been there like 6-7 years because of COVID. So, he came in third. And
on the number one team in the country.
And who I think is the best quarterback in the country came in fourth.
And that would be?
Cameron Ward from Miami by way of Washington State, by way of Incarnate Word. Yeah, it was, I'm not a big Heisman guy, but this one was, I think, memorable because of the unprecedented nature of the man who won.
I agree. He started out at a historical black college university.
Yeah, the first time someone started off from HBCU won the Heisman. I think Aaron McNair was the last time someone from HBCU was a finalist.
Interesting. I had forgotten about that.
He came in third place.
Yeah. JJ.
Dad.
In addition to the Heisman, since the last time we were here, the college football playoff brackets came out.
Indeed, they did.
Have you seen them?
I have seen them.
Did the committee get it correct?
The committee got it correct. They did not allow a 9-3 Alabama team to make it in over a 11-1 in Indiana, or 11-2 SMU. Right. But the second loss obviously should not be held against them because they were playing in a conference championship game that Alabama didn't even have the opportunity to play in. So,
what do you think about the seeding?
The seeding,
with
I thought
Arizona
was appropriate.
State getting a bye, Boise State getting a bye.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the last year that this will happen. I think they're going to move to 16, and so there'll be less buys.
Well, I think it'll happen next year. I may be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. I don't think that the 4 winners, conference winners, champion winners, should all get a bye. Because in my mind, Arizona State and Boise State are not deserving a bye. I think a bye should be for the top 4 teams.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they deserve it or not, but I don't think I like the whole bye system. They don't do that with the NCAA tournament in basketball. You can win your conference and be in Dayton, like the 16 seeds. So
Oregon is the 1 seed. Do they have the easiest road to the championship?
No, they do not.
Shouldn't it be like that, though?
It's never like that. It's not like that in the NCAA tournament, too, because of, you want to be fair to everyone involved. So you have to be fair to Oregon and not give them too hard of a road. But at the same time, you have to be fair to the resumes that you're evaluating. And a lot of times, injuries can play a part. Like a lot of times, teams can come on late. There's a lot of different factors that go into them picking the people that they pick. But like that happens all the time in the NCAA tournament. Like, there's like that 11 seed, that 12 seed that nobody wants to see because they got hot at the right moment. I think Oregon is I think they would trade places with Penn State in a heartbeat.
That's what I was about to say.
Except Penn State has to play one more game.
Agreed. Yeah. Agreed. JJ, round one. Let's talk about round one. Friday, Indiana plays at Notre Dame. And then Saturday, there's 3 games. Clemson at Texas, Tennessee at Ohio State, SMU at Penn State. If these 4 games were the first week of the season, would you be interested in all 4 of these games? Are there any game on this list, in this bracket, that would not interest you that much in week 1?
Yeah, Indiana, Notre Dame, like if this was last year, Indiana had never won 10 games in the history of their program in over 100 years. They've won 11 now. So I never would have thought, they fired their coach. So I think their over-under was like 4 or 5 wins. So I would not have been excited to see Notre Dame and Indiana come into this season. SMU, Penn State, I would have been somewhat excited for because I know SMU's pretty good. And Penn State's pretty good, but I wouldn't have expected SMU to have the season that they did.
Okay. JJ, there are 3 cold weather games. Mm-hmm. Tennessee at Ohio State, SMU at Penn State, and Indiana at Notre Dame on a Friday night. Will the weather be a factor?
Absolutely, the weather would be a factor. I mean, we've never seen anything like this. We don't see in December people coming north of the Mason-Dixon line, except for the Pinstripe Bowl in New York. That's the only bowl that's like north.
Does this favor the Big Ten?
So normally you would think so, but I don't think it favors Ohio State because they're a passing offense. They struggle to run the ball. They could not run the ball at all on Michigan. And Tennessee is a running offense, and they can run the ball. So I think when you have weather as an element, I actually think that, Tennessee as a style of play fits better. But obviously, I mean, we don't know how they will do in the elements.
Okay. JJ, of all the teams in the tournament, the playoff, give me 2 or 3 teams with great storylines.
Well, Indiana making it here. The cheapest ticket to go to Indiana Notre Dame is, I can't remember how much it was, but it was significantly more than any other ones because Indiana is the program least likely. I mean, they've never been here before, and they're least likely to repeat this. So they're playing with house money.
I was going to ask you that question.
Yeah, so Indiana fans have been waiting a century for this.
They haven't even been waiting, JJ.
Yeah, they just pleasantly surprised. So
exactly.
It's the highest ticket in town. It's an in-state. They're both in the state of Indiana. They don't play one another.
Nope.
They've played, I think, once since 1990.
Notre Dame does play Purdue, but they do not play Indiana.
They do not play Indiana.
They will this year.
Yeah, they will. They will. And, with Indiana having the run defense that it does and with Notre Dame relying on the run offense that they do,
true.
That's a really exciting matchup. I think that is the storyline to watch out for.
Okay. Any other team with good storyline? Because I got a few.
Yeah, Ohio State, if they were to lose this game, did they put Lane Kiffin? Does he get fired before he makes it to the locker room?
Does Ryan Day get fired?
Yeah, before he makes it to the locker room. That one is interesting.
If they lose this game, Ryan Day can pack his bags.
He absolutely can. And count that, $40 million buyout he'll be receiving.
This is the bigger question, though, JJ. If Tennessee wins this game, do they plant a flag at the 50-yard line?
No, I don't understand why Oklahoma, this all started with Baker Mayfield. I think this whole flag planting thing. I remember Notre Dame and Michigan State, that happened once, but that was after somebody won, I can't remember what school, but whatever school did won 4 games in a row. But as far as the whole one-off flag planting thing, that really came with Baker Mayfield. I don't really understand it, but it's my thing is I don't you can't plant a flag unless it's in real grass.
Well, I say that as basically as a joke, alluding to the last game that was played in Ohio State, which they lost to Michigan, and they planted the flag, and all mayhem broke out.
Yeah, and a Republican representative from Ohio wanted to pass legislation making it a felony, not just a misdemeanor, a felony to plant a flag in Ohio Stadium, and that just lets you know about the snowflakes that they have down there in that state down there.
Okay. Some more great storylines, JJ. What about the storyline of SMU rising from the dead? The Phoenix, if you will.
Yeah, they went 11-1 last year in the regular season, and then they went 11-1 this year. The difference was they were in the group of 5 last year, and this year they were in a Power 4. allegedly. Yeah, I mean, you can buy your way into a lot of different situations, as we found out.
Well,
It's the American way.
money will help you get a start, but it won't push you all the way there. JJ, what about the storyline of Clemson not using the transfer portal and making it to the college playoff?
Yeah, they were one of four schools that did not use the transfer portal.
Army, Navy, Air Force,
and Clemson. So congratulations. I mean,
so what does that say, man? Or does it say anything?
Yeah, I mean, it says that Clemson isn't what they used to be, in part because of the transfer portal, but also, Dabo is a good enough coach where he can rally the guys and they able to win the regular season or their conference, the ACC, on a walk-off 56-yard field goal, but they did win it.
They won.
I think when you look at Florida State, Miami's losing Restrepo and Ward. I mean, the ACC looks like it could be Clemson and SMU's to battle for a while.
And who would you pick as the eventual? Of those two teams, Clemson and SMU, who has the brighter future in your mind?
It's a really good question. They both are very fertile recruiting states. They both have a lot of competition in the area for players. I mean, it basically depends on if Dabo is stubborn and refuses to use the transfer portal. I will say SMU has a better.
I say SMU has a brighter future because this is America. This is where capitalism is king, and SMU got billionaires left and right. When SMU joined the ACC, they said we don't want the TV revenues, right?
Well, they don't. They might not wanted it. They didn't need it.
What they did right away was to get together a collective of boosters to replace that money.
Oh yeah.
And
it looks like it's money well spent as of right now.
SMU got money.
Yeah.
Their football team is going to be there. Their basketball team is going to be there in the future. Clemson, they got a good coach. I can't take that away from him. I mean, he's stubborn, but he wins. But man, SMU just got too much going for them. The Pony Express might be back, not this year, but in the near future, I can see SMU rivaling Texas A&M in Texas.
Well, I mean, they always were able to pay. I mean, Craig James, Eric Dickerson, they've been pulling out their pocketbooks for a while. It got them in trouble in the late '80s, but now it's the Wild West. You can do whatever you want.
NIL.
Yeah.
Now it's legal.
It is.
That's what NIL stands for, right?
I had a feeling that's what you're saying.
Now it's legal. JJ, first round game. And then we're going to talk about some potential second round game. Which you said that the Indiana Notre Dame game excites you the most. Give me a winner of that game.
Indiana.
Man. Any reason why?
Indiana has a premier run defense, and Notre Dame struggles to do anything on offense other than run the ball. I do think Indiana's defensive line and linebackers will be able to contain Riley Leonard. That's what Northern Illinois did. They stacked the box and they made Riley Leonard beat them with his arm. And he will be the second best quarterback passing wise in this game. I think Indiana's a little bit more versatile on offense. I think you saw against the Ohio State game. Every time they send one extra person, it was pretty much an automatic sack.
Indeed, you were right on that one.
So obviously that's an adjustment that they're going to have to deal with. Also, Indiana struggled against Michigan in the second half. They had 6 yards of offense in the second half.
I was going to say that.
I don't think Notre Dame has the defensive front that Ohio State or Michigan does have. And I don't. I just think with the elements, I would trust Curtis Work to be able to throw the ball in those elements more so than Riley Leonard. And I do think that defensive line and specifically that linebacking core will battle up.
Well, it's Friday night, and I will definitely be watching. I got Notre Dame. Let's go to SMU. Going to Penn State. 2 11-2 teams hooking up. both of them losing their conference championship game. How you like that game? Who you got as a winner?
Yeah, Penn State should win this one. They have the home field advantage. They have the weather advantage. They're more used to playing in Penn State. They just had their backup quarterback transfer out, so Drew Aller better not get hurt. Bo Pribula, he graduated, and I'm not sure why he decided to transfer now. SMU's quarterback, Preston Stone, who started the year as a starter, announced that he's transferring, but he's going to ride it out through the playoff run. So, as long as Penn State stays healthy, I think that they have
Agreed.
a better team.
Agreed. I think they have a better team, the better personnel. I'm pulling for SMU because they got that storyline, rising from the dead. But I think Penn State's a better team. But
I'll pull for James Franklin. I think he, gets kind of a bad rap. He reminds me of Jim Harbaugh, where it's like, oh, can you ever win the big game? And I think now might just be that time.
Okay, so you give me your thoughts on Texas Clemson. Clemson is the only 3-loss team in the playoff.
Yeah. So Quinn Ewers looked horrible against Georgia. His arm is like significantly weaker than it used to be. I'm not sure what's going on, if he's injured. But he can't make like a 20-yard out. He can throw it, but it takes a long time to get there. With that said, Texas struggles to run the ball. I know they lost like 3 or 4 running backs in the beginning of the year.
2.
And then,
they lost number 2.
And then they lost more throughout the year. But I know that their run game was rejuvenated.
I agree.
But against Georgia, it wasn't, and I don't see them being able to run specifically well against Clemson. Kevin Jennings against Clemson was under duress all day. And Texas has a better offensive line than SMU does, but they do not have as mobile of a quarterback. I think the best thing that could happen to Clemson is Quinn Ewers stays in the game and doesn't get hurt.
And Arch Manning doesn't come in.
Because if he comes in, that's a wild card. He can run, he can throw, he has a stronger arm, he can run faster. I think that, they're playing their second best quarterback, and I think because of that, Clemson.
Well, I think Texas defense, especially the defensive line, is way better than SMU's was.
Yeah.
I think Texas win that. But interestingly,
What's your favorite win Texas has this year?
My favorite win.
What's their best win?
They beat Vandy.
They did beat Vandy. They beat A&M and they beat Michigan.
A&M is their best win.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Who's Indiana's best win?
Indiana's best win, Illinois. Illinois is currently ranked.
Okay.
Unlike Texas A&M, they are not ranked in the
Okay.
in the top 25. So
Okay. I got Texas winning that game. It's a home game, but interestingly, that game was just sold out today, JJ. The day is Wednesday. The game is being played. It took them that long to sell this game out. Can you
and
believe
Texas, the stadium is not. It's not like it's the Shoe or the Big House.
it? It's 100.
Yeah, but it's smaller than the Shoe and the Big House and Beaver Stadium.
It's bigger than most of them.
Yeah,
but just the fact.
But Ohio State and Penn State are both. The only reason I brought those teams up is because they're both playing.
Just the fact that Texas is sold out.
Yeah,
It's sold out. But JJ, I say the best game for last.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee at Ohio State.
Now that sold out a lot quicker.
Tell me about Tennessee. They're gonna try to steal that home field.
The athletic director said that they're anticipating 30 to 40% Tennessee fans.
I don't see it.
We'll see.
I don't see it.
We will have to see.
So, tell me about that game, JJ.
Yeah, it's a game that's going to be very heavy on Ryan Day's heart. He's gonna need to win it. If they were to lose a home game, that's the thing. Like most of the time when you're playing nowadays, you're not at home. So the vitriol that the fans would have if he were to lose would be pretty significant. And now he might have a 60-40 split support wise. So that is very, very interesting.
I can't see the Tennessee fan getting all those tickets personally, but who knows?
Well, you know why they said that somebody released a code on a message board, so that's how they had access to all the tickets.
Really?
Yeah. So there is a guy that went to Ohio State, that graduated from Ohio State, that was a Tennessee fan. I guess he's from.
Okay.
You can be born in Tennessee and move, I guess. To Ohio
Okay, that's true.
Get a scholarship, and he was like, "Hey, got the news. This is the password." And the password was like OSUFB. It was like very easy to get. Like, it would have gotten guessed anyway. But the verification code got leaked, and before Ohio State could stop it, Yeah, they said
That's
Tennessee
I
fans
did not know
flooded.
that.
Yeah,
That's gonna
why.
be interesting.
That's why the AD came out and said they're anticipating 30 to 40%. So this is going to be an interesting game.
That will be. Big Ten rules.
Big Ten what?
Rules in that game. They win.
Um,
Big Ten SEC. We here talking about the Big Ten SEC. That's what we do.
I actually don't. I'm not that impressed with Tennessee's defensive line. Actually, I think that's the way to exploit Ohio State, as you saw against Michigan. They tried to run the ball up against a great front. I don't think Tennessee has the front that Michigan has, and I think Ohio State is dealing with injuries. There a whole lot of injuries to the offensive line. They're starting
Two
centers out. They've lost 8 offensive linemen since spring, so they are very weak there. But I still think Ohio State has too much talent. I think that they have a lot of talent, and more importantly, I think Tennessee's quarterback is
Nico.
not. I think he's been very underwhelming for me. I think he's going to be the second best quarterback in that game, and I'm not a big Will Howard guy, so I have Ohio State.
That's where I'm going to disagree with you as far as being the second best quarterback in that game.
Okay, what do you think Nico is going to do better then?
JJ, I think the weak link in Ohio State's game is Mr. Howard.
I think that's the same with Tennessee's game. I think he's the weak link as well. I just think Howard's a little bit better.
Okay, we can agree to disagree.
Okay.
They're going to play it. I think Ohio State's a better team.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should be a great game. My question is how will Ohio State handle the pressure? I mean, they've been to the playoff before. Tennessee has not. How will they handle the pressure? That's my thought. Let's just go to the second round. Just hypothetically, Arizona State all rested up for either Texas or Clemson. You say Clemson. Will Arizona State win in Atlanta on New Year's Day?
No, their best receiver is out. Cam Scottaboo, he's a great player, finished 5th in the Heisman voting. But I think they're a little too one-dimensional running the ball. I know Sam Levitt can run as well. And he's been very good, but their receiver was like the best receiver in the conference. Maybe Travis Hunter was better. Maybe T Mac from Arizona. He didn't have the numbers this year, but he might get drafted higher. I just think that's too significant of a. I think that's too significant. No matter Clemson or Texas, I think they both beat Arizona State.
Okay. Number 1 Oregon, 13-0, waiting for Ohio State in the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. All waiting for Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about these maybe at a later point in time. But Oregon, Ohio State, Oregon, Tennessee.
Yeah, if they see Tennessee, I think Oregon wins. I think if they see Ohio State, I think Oregon loses. I think it's that simple.
I agree with you 100%. 100%. I thought the first thing we agree 100% on. Let's go to Boise State, JJ.
Let's go.
Winner of the Mountain West Conference, number 3 seed, getting the winner of Penn State SMU.
Yeah, I mean, I think Penn State would destroy Boise State.
And this would be in Arizona.
It will be in Arizona.
Yeah.
And I think it will be significantly more Penn State fans than Boise State fans.
We agree again.
Boise State, their quarterback is really good. He's thrown like 30 touchdowns.
Their running back is really good too.
Yeah, but people don't talk about the quarterback. The quarterback's thrown like 3 interceptions and 30 touchdowns, and I think the running back opens up a lot in the passing lane. You get a lot of one-on-one coverage. But I just think Penn State has more Jimmys and Joes across the board.
We will agree. JJ, before we move on, the Mountain West Conference, they're the number 3 seed. Their conference deserved the number 3 ahead of Arizona State?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't think either one of those is the third best team in this bracket, or has the third best resume in this bracket. But I mean, as of right now, they're letting the 4 conference, the highest rated conference champions get the bye. So
Boise State is 12-1 in the Mountain West. Arizona State 11-2 in the Big 12. I'm putting Arizona State number 3.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Boise State's best win is a close loss against Oregon, like a 3-point loss against Oregon. That's Boise State's best win. Other than that, I mean, UNLV was ranked. I don't think they are anymore, so they don't have a ranked win.
Last game before we get out of here, JJ. Georgia sitting in wait for Indiana Hoosiers, as you tell me. I say they sitting and wait for Notre Dame. Georgia play Indiana. What happened there? And Carson Beck probably won't be playing in that game.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a 5-star. Like the backup is a 5-star redshirt freshman. He did not look great in the championship game against Texas, but I don't think he would need to be great to beat either Indiana or Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is a more formidable opponent for them, especially with Carson Beck out. But like this entire year, Carson Beck is lost Lad McConkey, who's second in rookies in receiving
Tight end from
yards.
last year.
No, he's the receiver.
The
tight end from last year is first. I was setting it up.
I'm sorry.
Lad McConkey is second in receiving rookie receiving yards, and the number 1 in rookie receiving yards is not a receiver; it's a tight end, Brock Bowers.
So, I'm sorry. Yeah.
And Carson Beck's NFL stock has plummeted with those guys gone.
Okay.
But what the backup can do a lot better than Carson Beck is he's a lot more mobile. Carson Beck isn't a statue or anything, but the backup can run. So I think Georgia would pull it out, but I would be really excited to see Notre Dame versus Georgia.
Georgia struggled against Georgia Tech.
They did.
Last game of the season. Last game of the regular season. I'm going to get out of here, JJ. But you know what? I think if Georgia was fully healthy, I would pick them to win just on the experience, even though Carson Beck hasn't done that. He has the experience, and I would give a big nod to experience. I'm looking forward to an interesting game. That's all I can say. I'm not giving neither one of those games, Indiana or Notre Dame, to Georgia as a win.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a gimme, but it's I would still think Georgia would be favored, even with the backup.
JJ, before we get out of here, I got one question to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
College football coaching change. Purdue has a new coach. Central Florida has a new coach. UNLV has a new coach. UNLV got Dan Mullen. Central Florida got Scott Frost.
Not quite a new coach. A retread.
Okay. I mean, new for them.
Well,
Dan Mullen
for
been at
2024.
Ole Miss, been at Florida. I mean, Mississippi State. I said Ole Miss.
No, but Scott Frost was at UCF. He was
That's
at
true.
that same school.
He went undefeated there.
He did.
He won a national championship according to them.
Yep.
When he was there, went 13-0.
So I think this is gonna go. I think that way is gonna go the same way Bobby Petrino did when he went back to Louisville, but without Lamar Jackson. I expect that to go that exact way.
Purdue got Barry Odom.
I think he's the best coach of them all. Well, no, I don't. I think he's the second best coach. I think UNLV got the best coach.
Dan Mullen?
Yeah, I think Barry Odom is the best coach. Like, he has the best coaching package when you factor in recruiting as well. He's a better recruiter than Mullen. Mullen does not like to recruit. But UNLV, I think that they have the NIL situation where they can recruit themselves. But, the starting quarterback left 3 games into the year, so maybe the NIL situation.
And it was just over $100,000.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Barry Odom is the better of those 3 coaches. Will he turn Purdue around like Indiana got turned around?
No.
Why not?
Well, because Purdue's not going to have the luxury of having the schedule that Indiana had. I don't think Indiana's going to have the luxury of having the schedule that Indiana had again.
Okay. All right.
Purdue's the worst team in Power 5. They won 1 game this past year. Like, it's a rebuilding situation.
Okay, JJ, we could talk basketball. We could talk even more football, but we won't. What do we leave out?
Nothing. I think we got a good 30 minutes on.
We good for now.
Yeah.
Make sure you come back when we give you the wrap on this college football playoff. Give you some details coming up, and we're going to be talking eventually. Believe it or not, we're going to be talking NCAA basketball.
At some point, we will.
WPS, Woo Pig Suey. Come on, JJ, let me hear you say it. Who that?